Hi there and welcome to today's episode of Next Wave TV. I'm your host Tony Reale. Today we're going to do a quick episode talking about a comparison between two different follow focus models. We have the CineCity model, which is kind of your cheapo brand. They're made in India, and there's several different manufacturers that make similar models to this. But they're pretty much, they take major company designs and they try to make them a little cheaper, which means less quality, and which means that you may or may not be getting as good a product as a major manufacturer. We're going to compare that with the Redrock follow focus. This is version 1, and we're using version 1 because that is the best comparison with the CineCity model, because this basically was designed somewhat off of this model. So we're going to get started and we're going to see, is the Redrock worth the extra money, and can this once again be good enough to get by. So we start off with what makes a follow focus a follow focus. Well, you've got your gear. Basically it's a gear here that shifts in here and then allows you to mount your camera physically right here and then rotate the lens. Instead of rotating it this way, you're rotating the lens this way. You can also use the marker discs right here, and this allows you to set your marking points for your first AC. So you can set up mark point here and here, and then you can rotate that back and forth. So these are really great, very valuable, especially when you're doing DSLR cinematography or cinematography that has very shallow depth of field, and you really want to have good solid control of your in and out points and just better control over your focusing. Follow focuses are a great tool for that. Now this one is about $350 to $400 with focus rings and whips and everything. This one is about $700 to $800 for the current version of it. So almost double the price. Is it worth it? Well, we start off with the CineCity model. Has the kind of cheaper, lower quality plastics and metal, as you can see here. The focus ring is kind of smaller, and the gears, everything's kind of smaller. If you compare it to the Redrock model right here, where you pretty much can swallow up the other guy, you've got a much larger focus area. And I'm using the film pitch gear right here, which is an add-on accessory, but it's really nice for when you're using DSLRs, because you're able to get this, you loosen this up, you slide it out like that. So you loosen it and slide it out, and then you can get it slightly farther away from the lens, which is great for when you have short throw lenses, because they basically your DSLR body is sitting right here, and this gets it farther away from that block so that it's not bumping into it and either scratching up your camera body or just being in the way. So that's the basic build quality of the two units. The one thing with the Redrock is you can also replace this marking disc, whereas on the CineCity it's pretty much solid on there, it's not replaceable. So they both have the accessory ports so that you can put in whips or speed cranks, and they're basically very similar. But at the end of the day, what makes a follow focus the most important thing is its gearing system and whether it has a lot of play. The Redrock here, we'll go ahead and demonstrate. I'm going to hold the gear solid and I'm going to try and move this back and forth, and I cannot move that without moving this. Now we go over to the CineCity model, and this is where it shows its value. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to rotate this. Now there is definitely at least 1 to 2 millimeters of play in this model, which is a huge factor. It may not seem like a lot right now, but when you're using it on your lens, this is a very big thing. If you're doing critical focus, that little play can mean a complete jump in your small focal area, and that can ruin a shot. Now, is it usable? Yeah, absolutely. I've used this for over a year before I got the Redrock model, because I didn't have the budget for the Redrock, and it was able to work just fine. But I could definitely feel the quality, and there were times where I really did wish that I had no play here, and I wish that I had the higher quality that the Redrock provided. So now that I have this one, I definitely would not go back. But at the same time, if you do not have the budget at all for this, it's better to have a follow focus than not have one at all. There are other models out there. Jag 35 makes one, D-Focus makes some. There's lots of different models, so you check around and do some price checking. Some are better than others, some have better gear. The Jag 35 model is a lot smaller. I've never worked with it, so I don't know if it has play or not. But the gearing is much smaller than this. It's a lot more plastic, but it's also less expensive. It's around I think $100 to $200 for that. So there's lots of different areas, different price points. But when you go professional, you're definitely going to get a big advantage, and you're going to be great, be happy that you spent the money. Well, I hope you guys found this helpful. Feel free to subscribe and check out some of our other videos we have, both for lighting, for camera, lots of different tutorial videos out there. Be sure to check out our blog, which is nextwaveg.blogspot.com, for more tips. And then be sure to check out our sponsor links here on the video. They help make these videos free, and they help allow us to keep bringing these videos to you. So check them out, and we'll see you next time.